For the inauguration of the state's 58th governor. And some city leaders meet the public this afternoon at the Joplin History and Mineral Museum. Kehoe News at 10 is next. Now at 10, it's Inauguration Day in Missouri. We'll hear from the new governor. Plus, the Kansas Department of Health and Environment heads to the city of Galena to help investigate the source of an unknown odor. And bird watchers flock to southwest Missouri to check out the bald eagles.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Missouri welcomes its 58th governor today. This is Kehoe News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. Governor-elect Mike Kehoe was sworn in on the steps of the state capitol in Jefferson City. Kehoe will replace outgoing Governor Mike Parson, who served as Missouri's governor from 2018 until today. In his inaugural address today, Kehoe talked about his priorities of economic development, agriculture, education, and public safety.
Later today, as my first official act as day one as governor, I will take our first steps in securing safety for Missourians. But that's not all. In the coming weeks, months, and years, my administration will be relentless in our efforts to make Missouri a place where it's easier to be a cop than a criminal.
Governor Kehoe wasted no time in acting on what he's calling the Safer Missouri Initiative. Following the ceremony, the governor signed 6 executive orders specifically aimed at crime and immigration. These orders include Executive Order 2502. It's a regional anti-crime effort that emphasizes cross-jurisdiction collaboration to pursue and apprehend dangerous fugitives. Executive Order 2504 establishes designation with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, to allow state and local law enforcement to assist in enforcing immigration laws. For a complete list of all of today's executive orders and to view Governor Kehoe's inauguration in its entirety, just head over to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. The city of Galena, Kansas is trying to get to the bottom of what's causing a very bad smell in some parts of the city. KOAM's Melissa Alexis spoke to the mayor of Galena to find some answers.
The colder it has gotten, the worse the smell is.
If you live in the area north of 4th Street in Galena, you may have noticed an unpleasant smell.
People that live and or work nearby have had similar concerns, and it's really become a pretty major issue.
While the city isn't sure of the source of the sulfur smell, one guess is it's coming from the landfill on Front Street.
I don't know if it's lack of adequate cover, which again they're doing, there's no violation there, so everything is being done right, but if there's still some stench that could come up from there, but with the air pressure and temperatures, that could keep the smell closer to human range versus it going up in the air and being able to spread out more. There's been talk of maybe, with going through the dry spell in the summertime, now that there's moisture in the ground, is that, mixing with some of the things that have been covered up in the landfill, so it's causing the odor. So I'm not really sure if it's all of that, if it's none of that.
KDHE conducted a test which determined the landfill doesn't have any violations. Mayor of Galena, Ashley Groves, says they've never had a smell issue to this extent in the past.
To my knowledge, this is the first time it's at least been this bad. Landfills, I think it always comes with the territory of having some odor, but nothing this potent or this long. Really it is a very consistent, almost a daily thing. We're not 100% sure it's coming from the landfill, but it's definitely coming from that area.
But one thing that is for sure is they plan to get to the bottom of the issue. And Groves encourages people to report the smell to the landfill operators.
To report it when they smell it. Now again, when that's 10 o'clock at night, 5 o'clock in the morning, nobody's going to be there, but please document as best as possible and then communicate that with the landfill operators. That way we have the documentation.
And as for the city of Galena's next steps, they have plans to meet with KDHE this Friday to work towards pinpointing the cause of the smell. Reporting in Galena, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
The mayor says there have even been reports the smell is coming into people's homes, and she's heard some folks express concern about whether the smell is a health threat. Tonight, Joplin city officials welcomed residents to a community council meeting at the Joplin History and Mineral Museum. This gathering provided an opportunity for community members to voice their concerns directly to city council members without the hassle of making an official appointment. City Councilman Doug Lawson says some people raise concerns surrounding Joplin's homeless issues, but he also believes the city is making significant strides in addressing these challenges.
One of the good things about Joplin is we take good care of our homeless people. One of the bad things about Joplin is we take good care of our homeless people. In other words, it's a good place to come if you're having those difficulties. But we have people in Joplin that are available, willing, eager to help people get off the streets, become self-sufficient.
Joplin city government has 2 more of these public gatherings scheduled. The next one is Monday, April 15th at the Joplin Athletic Complex, and another on Monday, July 14th at Cunningham Park. Meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney joins us now with a first look at the weather.
Well, temperatures are dropping down through the 20s, so we're only going to drop another degree or 2 as we head into this evening, but we have a wind chill value in the teens, so it's still going to feel a little bit chillier than actual temperatures. Now, we've got a clear night sky, maybe a few clouds over the night, but more clouds moving in tomorrow. However, we're also going to see a nice increase in temperatures over the next couple of days. So today we got into the low 30s. Tomorrow we're going to get into the low 40s and then just continue to creep up from there. Mid 40s on Wednesday and low 50s on Thursday. Plus warmer temperatures on Friday. However, we do have a front that could be bringing in strong cold temperatures as we head into the weekend and next week. But I'm going to have a full look at your forecast coming up.
See you soon. Bald eagles are making their way to Missouri, according to the Department of Conservation. The Show Me State has become one of their favorite places to nest, thanks to the state's vast rivers, lakes, and wetlands that provide a steady source of food. In fact, more than 2,000 bald eagles are reported in Missouri this winter season.
1963, just around 400 known nesting pairs. This is one of the most amazing conservation comeback stories in the United States, possibly in the world. Today, there are over 70,000 known nesting pairs in the United States.
Skellicky says it's illegal to tamper with a bald eagle's nest. Local users weigh in on the looming potential ban of TikTok. That's coming up, but up first.
Bracing for more fires. I'm Danya Backus with a look at the continued firefight in Los Angeles and what's being done to prevent more destruction.
Wildfires across Los Angeles County have killed at least 24 people, destroyed more than 12,000 structures, and scorched more than 60 square miles. The Palisades and Eden wildfires are still raging. Tonight, there's new fear that heavy winds in the forecast could make the catastrophic situation even worse. Danya Backus reports from Los Angeles.
From an outlook over the Palisades, firefighters survey the scarred landscape and prepare for the next major battle against the catastrophic Los Angeles wildfires. Powerful Santa Ana winds are expected to kick up again, possibly triggering new fires and hampering recent progress in containing the devastating blazes.
As the increasing wind event is upon us as we speak, the Los Angeles City Fire Department has maximized our resource capabilities and response capabilities.
President Biden and senior administration officials, including Vice President Kamala Harris, held a briefing on the crisis in Southern California.
We have no higher priority than the safety of you folks in Los Angeles. We're going to keep doing everything possible to help you get through this.
More than 15,000 firefighters are now in place compared to fewer than 1,500 when the fire started. Hundreds of evacuees and volunteers gathered at Santa Anita Park in Arcadia, where a grassroots donation center was set up a few miles south of the Eden fire zone. CBS News has obtained video of this 8-acre blaze on New Year's Eve. It's in the same area where the Palisades fire exploded. Firefighters noted the connection.
The foot of the fire started real close to where the last fire was on New Year's Eve.
Officials said they have not ruled out whether embers from that fire reignited. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The National Weather Service issued red flag warnings for severe fire conditions through Wednesday. Gusts in the mountains could reach 70 miles an hour. There's less than a week until a favorite social media platform might be disappearing from app stores in the U.S. TikTok could face suspension in the U.S. on January 19th unless its parent company, ByteDance, divests the app. Pittsburgh TikTok user tells us she's looking at possible TikTok alternatives.
The issues that are coming up, like how do we organize after this? Like if we have something that happens, I've seen people with the fires in LA, they've been able to get more real-time information about the fires coming down the hill that they're living on quicker than anything the government's putting out there. So I mean, it's really like a matter of safety, it's a matter of our freedom of speech, like it's much bigger than a social media app.
A lot of TikTok users are migrating to another Chinese-owned platform known as Red Note. It's currently the most downloaded free app on the Apple App Store. Some drivers in Joplin are going to need to take a detour in the coming days. Starting tomorrow, St. Louis Avenue will be closed from 8th Street to Campbell Parkway. This is going to be a full closure at the railroad crossing to replace the box culvert and stormwater infrastructure. People living in that area will still have access to their homes, but through traffic, they'll need to follow the detour route. A little later, the overturning of Roe versus Wade has an unexpected impact, an increase in vasectomy.
And we have a warm up in store for us this week. I'm going to talk about that coming up.
Interest for 48 months with $0 down, only at Ashley.
Well, after a week of really cold temperatures and snow, we actually have a warm up in the forecast. Taking a look outside, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, a lot of the snow has melted. We've had sunny skies for the last couple of days and clear skies continue. Now temperatures today got down to the low 30s for the high, and our low temperatures were in the teens. So we're about 10 degrees below what they should be today. Now tomorrow temperatures are warming up to the low 40s. So this is getting closer to average where we should be this time of year. Partly cloudy skies, a bit warmer, though still maybe a little chilly because we've got a northerly breeze through most of the day on Tuesday. Those winds do shift again, though, out of the south. So we continue our warm up. Now, it's due to a couple of low pressure systems. One is off to the east and the other one is slowly getting cut off out in the west. So it kind of builds this little ridge right in between our areas. So we actually have a nice ridge, high pressure building over our area. So temperatures as we head into Thursday, getting into the upper 40s, low 50s, about 49 in Pittsburgh and Lamar and Parsons, 51 Independence, Joplin area, and Anderson, and then a little bit warmer out in Oklahoma, 56 in Nowata, 54 in Veneta, Miami, and Grove. Winds are out of the west on Thursday, and then heading into Friday morning, temperatures for the overnight lows in the upper 30s, low 40s. So this is pretty warm for a cooler day. This is going to be one of our first days that we're actually not below freezing for the overnight lows. And then by Friday highs, we're back in the low to mid 50s for all of us with winds out of the south. So it's looking pretty good for the next couple of days. And that's, like I said, due to this cut off low that's out in the west and another low pressure system that's off in the east. So we have this ridge pinched in between those two low pressures over our area. Now, Wednesday morning, we've got a shortwave trough that's going to continue to push off. Not expecting any precipitation, but we are getting a little bit of a wind shift line with that. And then we go into Thursday with that ridge and that high pressure building over our area all the way through Friday. But by Friday morning, our cut off low rejoins with the upper level flow. Now there's a lot of uncertainty with this because that low pressure that's cut off needs something driving it to rejoin with the upper level flow. And as of right now, we've got a little shortwave trough a little too far out to the east, and then we've got another little shortwave trough a little too far out to the west. So there's a lot of uncertainty that could go with this. It could come in a little earlier or hold off a little bit later. But as of right now, it brings a cold front that develops right outside of our area, right to the east. So we could still see a few showers, especially early Friday after evening and into Saturday morning. But that cold front really develops past our area out to the southeast. But little snow shower moves in behind the low pressure system, and we could see some snow flurries with that Saturday afternoon and into early Sunday morning. And definitely going to see a significant drop in temperatures. So regardless of our confidence levels in the precipitation that we could get this weekend, we are 100% getting a really cold drop in temperatures from upper 50s on Friday to upper 20s on Sunday and even low 20s on Monday, with the overnight lows dropping down to the single digits. So we're back to that cold pattern where we're going to see a couple of really cold days. But I mean, we get a nice week of sunny skies and warmer temperatures I mean, warmer for the winter time, but still.
It's January after all, so what should we expect?
I mean, 57 in January is pretty nice, I would say.
Can't complain, for sure. Thanks. New research suggests video games might be helping men build social connections in the face of rising loneliness. Experts say more than half of Americans will experience social isolation, with men reporting fewer close friendships than in the past. A study from Texas A&M found men participating in a football gaming site started with game-related chats, but gradually opened up about real-life topics like job changes and moving. While online connections can help, researchers say in-person interactions remain crucial for mental health. More men are getting vasectomies after the reversal of Roe v. Wade. A study published in JAMA Network found a third of men getting vasectomies said the Dobbs decision was an important factor in their decision. There's also been a rise in younger men getting the procedure. Men are more than 3 times more likely than women to die from traumatic brain injuries. The study by the Taylor and Francis group found older adults were the most at-risk group for experiencing a TBI, with the falling being the biggest risk. Traumatic brain injuries make up a quarter of all injury-related deaths in the U.S. Still ahead, McDonald County boys basketball faces Neosho on the road, and a member of the Pitt State women's basketball team is named MIAA Player of the Week. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
All tagged with market's lowest price. Metro Appliances and more. The right price on the right product right now.
Hey, welcome to sports. I'm John Dales, and we've got just one college football game left for the next 8 months. That's the Division I FBS National Championship next Monday night. But Pittsburgh State has some news for the 2025 season. Pittsburgh State Athletics officially announces its 2025 football schedule today. Now, by the end of last week, we found out the opponents for each week, but now we've got dates and times to go with that. Of note, the first game of the season will be played on a Thursday night. That's the Gorillas' road game against the defending national champion Ferris State on August 28th. That's the 4th time in the last 5 years the PSU opens the season on a Thursday. 9 days later, Pitt State will face Central Oklahoma for a night game on the road. Then PSU's first 2 home games both kick off at 4 p.m. That's also new. Against Grand Valley State and Fort Hays State, Gorillas will host rival Missouri Southern in the Miners Bowl on November 1st. It's the first time since 2022 that game will be played at Carney Smith Stadium. Tonight marks the start of another busy week for high school basketball in the 4 states. We begin in southeast Kansas, where Chanute heads on the road to face Pittsburgh. Games were originally scheduled for Friday, but the snow postponed it till today. And the Pittsburgh girls win 50-40, but the Blue Comets boys team takes down the Purple Dragons 67-53. In Missouri, non-conference battle tonight at Neosho High School, and the Wildcats roll to a 75-36 victory over McDonald County. They're back at home Friday against East Newton. Switching gears to college basketball, Pittsburgh State senior forward Corinna Gerber is named MIAA Women's Basketball Player of the Week for the 2nd week in a row. She helped lead the Gorillas to a pair of conference victories over Missouri Southern at home, then against Newman on the road. Gerber scored 22 points to go with 11 boards against the Lions. Then she had 12 points and 10 rebounds in the win at Newman. She now has 8 double-doubles on the season, and she leads the conference in free throw percentage. Moving over to the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys announced this afternoon they've mutually agreed to part ways with their head coach Mike McCarthy. This comes after the two sides couldn't come to terms on a new deal after McCarthy's contract expired at the end of the season. He'll likely be a favorite to fill one of the several head coaching vacancies across the league. And with McCarthy as head coach, the Cowboys had a record of 49-35. They also won the NFC East 3 times. Well, the majority of the NFL is already looking ahead to next season, but of course, there are still plenty of teams still alive in the playoffs, and the final game of the wild card round takes place tonight. This one was all Rams. They dominate the 14-win Vikings. Final score 27-9. The Los Angeles defense put pressure on Minnesota quarterback Sam Darnold all night. They finished the game with 9 sacks, and that ties an NFL record for a playoff game. And obviously the circumstances going into this game too, so crazy for the Rams where they couldn't practice at their facility all week. The game gets moved to Arizona. They were even saying at the end of that game, they still don't know if they can practice at their facility this next week before they play Philly.
For that reason, a lot of people, I'm sure, are pulling for the LA team. We'll be right back.
Kansas Crossing Casino brings you a night of entertainment unlike any other. Pop Rocks.
Winter just got a little bit warmer for some kids in Southwest Missouri. Today, Children's Haven of Southwest Missouri presented 120 brand new coats to children in need. The event is made possible after a partnership with Frank Fletcher Subaru of Joplin and Operation Warmth.
For somebody that kind of grew up with in and out of homes and not having very stable childhood, being able to provide for a community and a establishment such as here where we're doing this for children that are in need, especially where it's cold and snowing outside right now.
Since 2003, Children's Haven has served families in Southwest Missouri, providing more than 50,000 nights of safe, nurturing care to more than 8,000 children. The weather a bit all over the place in the coming week.
Oh yeah, so we go through a warm up first couple of days in the 40s, then Thursday and Friday in the 50s. We might have the potential to see maybe a little showers and a little bit of snow, but mostly the main concern this weekend is going to be a drop in temperatures with that front. Now again, we could see some precipitation, but low chance of that right now. Definitely going to see a drop in temperatures.
We'll enjoy the warmer temperatures while they are here anyway. Final sports note.
Yeah, well, I mentioned earlier that now we're through the wild card round of the NFL playoffs. The Chiefs obviously had this past weekend off. They play in the divisional round on Saturday. And for players like Patrick Mahomes, a couple other starters, they haven't even had to play since that Christmas game against the Steelers.
Yeah, I think it'll be something like 24 days between meaningful games.
It's been a while.
Thanks for joining us. Don't forget the morning show starts at 5 a.m. and let's make it a great tomorrow.